Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Football Betting Series here on YouTube Premier League edition. Because of the fixture congestion, I'm recording this episode in the middle of the week, so I don't have an updated December record. But what I do have is 3 picks in today's episode, so if you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. Our first selection is the Merseyside derby, and it sees 15th place Everton playing host to first place Liverpool. And Everton, they pulled off an emphatic win in their last game against Wolves. Despite Wolves having more of the play in the first half, Everton made their chances count, going into the interval 2-0 up. 2 more goals came courtesy of a strange Craig Dawson own goal brace, with the scores finishing 4-0 to the Toffees. In terms of form, this result came at the right time for Everton, breaking a 5-game winless run in the Premier League. They host the Liverpool side, who shared the spoils in their last game away to Newcastle. In what had been one of the Toons' best performances of the season, Mo Salah thought he won the game with a second-half brace to make the scores 3-2 to Liverpool, only for Fabian Schär to level up the scores with his 90th minute equaliser. Stats-wise, this does appear to be a fair result for both parties, and when we look at the form, this result does break a 4-game winless streak for the Reds. However, it does mean that they are unbeaten in their last 10 Premier League games and unbeaten in 16 across all competitions. When we look at the head-to-head records, Everton came out on top in the last derby day. Branthwaite and Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored in a 2-0 win for the Toffees. And of late, the Merseyside derby has been a rather unpredictable affair. Of the last 4 games, Liverpool have won twice, Everton have won once, and there has also been a draw in there. One interesting stat when I was looking at the head-to-head records is that Everton do really well at home. Liverpool have won just 1 of the last 7 derby days at Goodison Park, with 5 draws in there as well. My prediction for today's game is that these sides are worlds apart. Liverpool are chasing their first Premier League title since the 2019-2020 season, whereas their hosts are looking over their shoulder and hoping to avoid being sucked into a relegation battle come the end of the season. Nevertheless, I'm fully aware of Liverpool's busy December record and Everton's relatively good record at hosting Liverpool in the derby. So I am going to back Liverpool, but I'm going to temper things with a half stake to open up the episode. Our second selection sees 7th placed Aston Villa playing host to bottom of the league Southampton. And Aston Villa returned to winning ways in their last match against Brentford. Rodgers, Watkins and Cash all found the back of the net as the Villains cruised to a 3-1 win. In terms of form, this result did snap a 5-game winless run in the Premier League, and Emre will hope to keep the momentum going against a hapless Southampton side. And I say hapless because despite Chelsea making 7 changes to their starting 11 on Wednesday, Southampton were battered by 5-1. Numbers-wise, it was as ugly as it sounds. Chelsea created 10 big chances in the game, and that totted up for an XG of 5.29. In terms of form, that result did mean that Southampton continue a winless streak of 4 in a row in the Premier League, and they've lost 3 of these games. When we look at the head-to-head records, the last match between these sides took place in January of 2023. Aston Villa picked up a 1-0 win away from home, thanks to, you guessed it, Ollie Watkins. In fact, this was the second time that Villa beat the Saints by 1-0 in that season, and those results continued a streak of 3 consecutive wins over Southampton, winning 4 of the last 5 encounters as well. My prediction for today's game is that Villa's form has really tapered off in recent weeks, but they may have just turned the corner, and they should have enough about them to beat a Southampton side at Villa Park. I really do fancy them. Southampton refuses to change the kamikaze strategy of passing out from the back, and despite players returning from suspension, they are still very injury-riddled. With this in mind, I'm going to back Aston Villa for a full stake in bet number 2. Our third and final selection in today's episode sees 17th place Crystal Palace playing host to 4th place Manchester City. And Palace, they picked up a big 3 points in their last game against Ipswich Town. Jean-Philippe Mateta took advantage of a slip from Jacob Greaves to lift the ball over the goalkeeper for the sole goal in the game. In terms of form, this result ended a streak of no win in 4, but the Eagles fans will be cautious about declaring that their form has turned, as they host the current Premier League champions Manchester City. The Citizens look to turn their form around against Nottingham Forest. Kevin De Bruyne returned to the starting 11, and he was instrumental in City's 3-0 win, picking up both a goal and an assist and the Man of the Match award. In terms of form, this result broke a 7-game winless run for City, featuring 6 losses in what has been a very un-City-like end to 2024. In terms of the head-to-head record, despite an early lead through Jean-Philippe Mateta, Crystal Palace were beaten by 4-2 in the last encounter against Man City, a game in which City did dominate as many would expect, but an XG of just 1.91 would suggest perhaps the 4 goals does flatter the reigning champions. This result did mean that Manchester City have come away with a win in 3 of the last 4 meetings against the Eagles, and in 5 of the last 6 at Selhurst Park. My prediction for today's game is that Manchester City's poor run of form appears to have come to an end, and they're going to try and make it 2 wins in a row against a Palace side that they've taken 16 of the last 18 available points against. Crystal Palace have also struggled of late and don't appear to be much of a threat, so I'm going to back Manchester City to win this one for a full stake in bet number 3. So there we have it, 3 selections in today's episode, starting off with the Merseyside derby. We're going to back the away side Liverpool, odds of 1.48, a £20 half stake to return £9.60. At 3 o'clock, we've got 2 selections. Aston Villa against Southampton. We're backing the home side Aston Villa, odds of 1.42, a full stake of £40 to return £16.80. Wrapping up the episode and the weekend, Crystal Palace against Manchester City. We're going to be backing Manchester City to pick up the win, odds of 1.64, £40 to return £25.60. So across the weekend, we're going to be risking £100 to hopefully pick up as much as £52 in kind. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Don't forget to check out the continental picks in the pinned comment down below. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.